All right, this is Missouri. I'm not going to tell you anymore. Show me. Love the run out. Off they go. Patience here, right? It's kind of the oxymoron. You need to get out quick, but you want to be patient and not spin it. It's a great scene. How do you navigate that, Carrie?
I mean, it is just such a relief to hear the gun go off and to get out there, get out hard, have positioning, know where your teammates are. But really, it's like the most beautiful rainbow I've ever seen. I just love this rainbow of runners.
See, Carrie had 1,500 meter speed, so she had choices, things to think about in the first 500 meters. I just had to run as fast as I could, try to get to the front.
I think all of us do. I mean, really, it looks wide, right? But then it kind of bottlenecks really pretty quick. And the big thing is, as a team, if you're going for that team championship, you want to keep your pack real tight. So you've got to get out. You know, in that, yeah, you're going to have 800-meter runners. We have, you know, sub-2-minute 800-meter runners out here that can get off the line fast, but you got to hear 10,000-meter runners out there fast as well.
Absolutely, and we just saw sort of on the left of your screen, Grace Hartman from NC State. She was their top runner at Nuttycombe. There was some chatter that she didn't look great at ACC, she didn't run regionals, but she's out running with aggression that we've seen all year.
Yeah, she's had a little bit of planner, I think, and has had a long year as well, but you know, she's good now and she's ready to roll.
So they go about 500 meters straight away, so you get to kind of sort things out a little bit before you take a nice, big, gentle turn there.
Look at that.
At the bottom of the start.
Course record was set during the pre-national.
Well, it's been interesting all year. You know, we're going to talk a lot about Doris Lemngole, but just the way that she's worked herself into the season. She's held back in a lot of the races. John and I called the SEC race, and you can see her now just off the front 3 or 4 there in the middle of the pack. But she really kind of played it safe. So not surprising to see her way up there pushing already and sort of just being free today, not worrying about teams so much.
And what's really not surprising is to see Jane Hedegren at the front. She has just taken every race she's run by the scruff of the neck and really just run away from everyone. I think the real question today for me is, one, does she show any kind of patience? And then two, we expect Doris to be able to stick with her. And how does she respond when someone's still there halfway through the race? Because no one has been able to be there halfway through the race so far.
I think the big question is Jane Hedegren really has not had anyone around her. And, you know, we talk a lot about it, but when you have people breathing around you, you hear footsteps, you hear people yelling for someone next to you, that is a little bit of a challenge. And so that was what I was thinking coming in. I know Jane is this true talent, and she definitely can win today, and I think she's got a real good shot at winning. But what will she do with that? And I know that she's very focused, and she's very headstrong.
You look at the front of that race, 262 athletes. You've got 32 teams of 7 runners apiece, and then you have 38 individuals, and you saw up front with the Arkansas Razorback. Usually they're here as a team. Just one this time, and that's Sydney Thorvaldsen, who's married now. Sydney Vaught is her married name, and so she's running up there. And running up top, number 113, Wu Pig Sua.
About 3 minutes for the first K, so that's sub 5-minute mile pace for those of you that prefer the Imperial system, as I know John does.
We grow up on a lot of that, you know. 5K I'm good, because as you know, I'm a regular on the turkey trot circuit.
Turkey trots.
Those are coming up too, right? And beautiful scoring that we have here, up to the second teams. So Oregon, it's early, but there's Oregon, NC State, BYU. So basically, all the proper villains are up top.
Yeah, and we can see on the BYU squad that we're showing on the screen here, Jane Hedegren's been their top runner, one of the top runners in the country, and then Riley Chamberlain, who has anchored 2 straight NCAA winning DMRs. She's been their second runner all year, and then they're packing up well behind that. So with these team scores up front in the first K, the pack is so dense right now. There's so few seconds for each of those points that this can change a ton, but we are seeing sort of 3 of the top 4 teams we expected are all in the top 5. So everyone's gotten out well and avoided trouble early on.
And we've had trouble before, right? People take in crowds like this, they have spills. You saw from South Carolina, Salma El Badr, the Moroccan runner, is up there running well. It is, boy, that is the 64 Crayola box, is it not, as they go running through there, Gary?
Well, and Rosemary Longisa there is up in the front pack as well. I like her. She was she came here and ran in September and set the new course record, and then Jane Hendrickson ended up breaking that later on in the season here. But you know, she's one that we really got to keep our eye on. I think when you've won here and you've run really well on this course, she's one that could definitely be a podium threat as well.
Absolutely. I mean, her worst finish this year is third.
Yeah.
So she's won every other race. She didn't really show much in track last year, but has absolutely had an amazing cross-country season.
See another turn there. What's the difference between a switchback and a serpentine? I don't know. Which one should I be using in terms there?
It depends how pretentious you want to say.
Okay.
Well, and runners like switchbacks.
I do work at the world's first and foremost journalism school, so I should be as pretentious as possible.
This is her fourth
Not around this crew.
cross-country in their collegiate.
Listen, you guys, Chris ran the course yesterday. You're bemoaning you didn't get here in time to run the course, and I ate 2 donuts before the show.
Look at
okay?
this right here, though. I mean, you
Yeah.
could just see the urgency that Jane Hendrickson has, and this is how she's run since she was in high school. I mean, what did she set, like 9 national championships?
9.
Or she had 9 national championships, 9 records. Like, this woman is someone that I think we're going to see around for a long time, and it's been really fun to hear Diljit talk about the intensity that she has, but also just that she loves to go out there and run and work out and do all the things, and she's really enjoying being on this team.
Yeah, Diljit's mentioned she's had a hard time holding her back.
Yeah.
One thing I always think about in situations like this is something a senior told me when I was a freshman in college, which is good athletes take a long time to die. In high school, especially for Jane, she can win races in the first 400 meters. Here, she's gonna push and push and push and feel like she's running amazing, and she's gonna turn around and someone's gonna be right there.
Yeah.
And she's got to learn how to win races that way, stay calm, have a second, third, fourth move. So we'll see if she needs it today, but I think that's going to be a big part of the learning process for her becoming one of the best athletes in the world.
We'll break out screen left, the Oregon team as they led through the first K, and we just crossed 2K.
Just up, though, from NC State. This is early, obviously, but keeping their packs close.
And there are the NC State Wolfpack come in ranked number 1. Ranked number 1 is different than finishing number 1.
Yep, and so they've got Grace Hartman in the top 10, and they've got 4 athletes in the top 30. Sadie Engelhardt, their 5th, one of the best high school milers of all time, is just a freshman. She's actually done an amazing job, especially for a freshman, especially for a miler, moving up throughout her races this year. So having her in the top 50 already, these teams are amazing. I think we're going to see an absolute shootout here at the end.
You know, what's interesting, though, is people forget that Sadie Engelhardt was a very good cross-country runner in high school. I mean, she ran and was 10th, I believe, at the Foot Locker Championships, and, you know, she won 3 or 4 of her state championships, so she's very good on the grass.
Well, when you run a sub 430 miler, everyone's benchmarking against that. So, you know, 10th at Foot Locker looks less impressive than those high highs.
But also, I think that's important to talk about on a spongy course. You know, when you have an athlete that has that power behind them to be able to run that fast in the mile, that's going to help you on a course like this.
So one athlete we want to keep our eye on here for Oregon is Dahlia Frias. She's a transfer from Duke. She's been a real breakout star this year for them. She's in All-American position through our first couple splits here, so that's a really good sign for the Ducks. And actually, Jane Hendrickson here has relinquished the lead with Longisa and Doris coming to the front.
And see, that's what I was talking about. This is a different position for her to be in. You know, when you're sitting behind someone, knowing that they feel good. They feel good like I do. I have company. If she can just calm herself and remember that. I mean, her dad was a great runner at BYU as well. She's got a lot of people around her that can teach her that. But she's been winning for a long, long time. I don't know. When's the last time she's lost? I don't know if she ever has.
I think she did race some collegiates on the track at 5K last year when she set that high school record, and I think she finished 3rd in that race. But I do think this is good for her. I think it's good to have someone else take the lead and have her try to sit in and find a rhythm.
They come right by our booth area, the viewing area. So there's about 9 or 10 in that lead pack, but then there's 3 out just in front. The others giving chase, and then you get back kind of to the peloton, which is, can't say enough, that's where the race is going to be won, right? You got those low sticks, but is that 5th person in the 30s? Are they in the 40s? I think in this women's team race, you can survive maybe in the 50s. That might wound you. I think you get past that, and now you've got some things that could be fatal to your team scores.
Yeah, and for Oregon, Juliet Cherubet, who was 11th last year at Texas Tech, she was out at 75th at the K and only is at 43rd at 3K. So that's a bit of a surprise for me. I mean, they need her to be in the top 15 if they want to compete with NC State. NC State, they have Grace Hartman there, who's sort of in this second pack that's forming, and then Hannah Gapes, who was 8th last year, is leading the, I guess, what's now the third pack.
The two that we thought would be out there are out there. Yeah. Doris Lemngole and Jane Hennigan.
But not in the order I would have predicted at this point.
Me too. I was just thinking that. Watching Doris now push the pace a little bit. To me, I was wondering if Jane Hennigan would be the one to really draw that kick that Doris Lemngole has out of her a little bit. But they both look good, right? I mean, they're both real smooth right here and just working their way through.
It is unique because you talk about how much time they run up front by themselves to now you've got somebody there and you're kind of measuring where are they, what kind of effort are they giving, and you're having to kind of calculate what's going on next to you for the first time.
It's a different thought process, right? It's not just like, oh, I'm going to just get to the next cave. Now you got to think about what are they doing, and you're trying to turn your brain off and just run. But it doesn't happen when you have someone right there that looks like they're feeling good, sounds like they're feeling good.
Good shot from the Gator up front.
So we can see Longisa there has dropped back from these two, and she's sort of dropping back into that chase pack. And yeah, this is the race we've all been waiting for. At a certain point, what else can you say? You can try to just describe how great these women are, but seeing is believing.
Well, and the other thing about this race that we've been waiting for is we haven't seen NC State race BYU or BYU in Florida or New Mexico all in the same race. Where the men, we're going to get Iowa State, we're going to get Oklahoma State, and we've had a couple of doses of that this season. This is the first time that all these top women's team have been on the line together, which makes it delicious.
It does, and so NC State has taken the lead at 3K. They're moving up. They're down to 114. Oregon's up to 144 points. They've lost some places. That's could just be a little bit of noise. People are running in packs. I do think Juliet Cherubet is an athlete we got to keep our eye on because Oregon expected her to be at least a top 20 athlete.
And you don't know kind of where's that race plan, where do they want to push, you know, do you hold your water till 5 and you think that last 1,000 is where you really want to go ahead and let out everything that you have.
And then BYU in third through 3K, they're running really well. They're still in striking distance to win this race. New Mexico a little further back, but certainly still in the mix for the win.
And listen, the gals running behind the top two, that's not a bunch of plumbers. Karen Kiplagat from Alabama, freshman, really good. We mentioned Selma El Badra, great. Grace Hartman is in there.
Well,
Kachellen got from Oklahoma State.
One great athlete who's back in that group that we didn't expect is Pamela Koskai from New Mexico. I mean, she's the runner-up here last year, NCAA 10K and 5K champion. I think we would have thought if there was going to be anyone to go with these two that she would be the one, but clearly she's not quite on her day at the moment.
Hendegren beat her by 45 seconds at regionals. A lot of people were wondering, did Koskai just sort of get her way into nationals? Well, I don't know. Today she's not looking quite as aggressive as she did last year. But you can really see that Doris Lemngole is continuing to put little surges on, and Jane Hendrickson would be the first freshman in 40 years to win if she wins today.
Susie Tuffy did it in 1985, running for NC State when she comes through. Chris, I don't know that I can ask you this question because you were in the top 10, but we get fluctuations from people. Sometimes they finish 13th and then they drop down to their 80th and then they're 53rd. Why the up and down nature of that?
I think what people lose sight of is just how dense the pack of the court or the pack is, and once you start going back into that pack and you get out of that top group that's a little comfortable, you know everybody, the panic can really set in and you can start losing places really quickly. I've always said the race is not easier at the front, but it is simpler. It's a lot trickier back managing a huge pack with everyone around you. Whereas being up in a pack of 10 athletes, it's just more comfortable.
Navigate a little easier.
You guys were front packers. You never had to worry about anything. Just out there as we take a look at the
We can see Angelina Napoleon coming through there for NC State. She's their number 3 right now, ACC champion as we mentioned. And there's Diana Cheritich, who's actually, I think we expected to be Oregon's number 1. So she's behind NC State's 3, if we saw that correctly.
So they ran right at about 3 minutes for that first K, and then it's been kind of 3:07, 3:06, and that's been enough for these two women to pull away.
NC State definitely starting to put a little bit of that spread on. Look at that, 100 points to 139, and they've all top 4 have moved up there in that last K.
There you look at the back end of these things and can make such a big difference. On your left, the top teams, the 5th runner. Sadie Englehart right now in a position with 43 points. Mia Barrett for Oregon. Tara Lavelle, BYU. Alice Seguin is with New Mexico. New Mexico in their championship turquoise. they run in all the time.
Well, we mentioned chaos, and I feel like the Oregon Ducks, they're still in it for the win. In second, only about 40 points back, but their lineup looks chaotic right now in terms of where we expected people to finish. And I'm a little worried about Cheretich and Cherabet for them. It feels to me like they're going a little bit the wrong direction. This part of the course here, we sort of hit the low point of the course, and now we've got a long, gradual uphill for about 600 meters, and I think that this could be where we really see a break happen.
Look at this drive, though, by Jane Hendrickson. 1K to go. She knows that. You could see her just digging. She's digging harder than I've had to see her all year. But Doris Lemngole looks pretty relaxed, but so does Jane. Jane is trying to get on her, but she doesn't look like she's hurting.
Long stride from Hendrickson. Gets a lot of ground in there. Talked to Doris yesterday. She came back from Worlds, and her coach Nick Steno said, we're going to give you 2.5 weeks off. Please do. And 9 days in, he caught her running. He's like, you're supposed to be on the couch. Well, maybe not the couch, but, so the great ones, sometimes you just got to go, right?
Well, she's
it's
a
not
champ.
they're not a sedentary people.
No, she wants to win, and she's running that way today. You can see it every single time. She can feel Jane come back on her. She puts a little push on. Look at this one, though. Here she comes again.
And she was in a race with Koskei last year in Hilda, and she didn't lose them till deep in the race.
It just seems like every time Jane comes up on Doris's shoulder, though, she takes a look, and then she makes puts a little more pressure on the gas.
Jane has absolutely had to fight all the way up that hill multiple times. It seemed like she was going to lose contact, and she fought back to the shoulder. I think the question here is they're going to sort of crest this hill, and they're going to go down a little sharp downhill. And does that, if you got tired legs, does the downhill help you get the momentum, or all of a sudden you just can't turn over it as the athlete that's feeling a little fresher?
I don't know. They both look good. And for a soggy course, they're both seeming like they have a little zip still in their legs. We're getting close here, peeps.
It's a little soggy, but you know what? I feel like it's held up pretty well. You don't
Yeah.
see any splashing or anything. We haven't seen anybody slip. Obviously, have spikes on, but everybody seems to be in good shape.
And the NC State women are running really, really great behind these top two. Hartman and Gabes were in third and fourth at 5K. So, and we're seeing Bethany Mahalik there, who's their fourth.
There's one for the home team, Mizzou's Monica Wanjico.
So we can see Oregon's, I think that's their 3-4, and we just saw it. This is NC State's 5 right here. So, and then Oregon's 5 is on the left of your screen, sort of hidden by our graphic there. So it's really, really tight between these teams on the back end. But up front, NC State, their top athletes are running a lot better than the All-Americans we expected from Oregon.
And here in the last half, Doris Lemngole has put down the hammer, and right now Jane Hendrickson has not been able to answer.
Listen, Jane Hendrickson has had such a great season and such a great couple years, but so has Doris Lemngole, and she has been at a different level, I believe, when she's over at the World Championships running so well, getting 5th there. That just brings such a different confidence. And now I think after this race, she can actually breathe, John, maybe take that break that she's wanted for so long.
No, you got to go to Boston and run that goofy 5K that everybody wants to go run.
Hopefully the world champs.
Here she comes. The great Doris Lemngole is going to go back-to-back, and it has been a while since we've had a repeat champion. Sheila Reed from Villanova, 2010-2011. Roll Tide. It is Doris Lemngole defending her championship, and what a run by the freshman, Jane Hendrickson.
She gave everything she had to stay with Doris up that hill, and it cost her in the last 400, but what a fight.
And now we find out how this team thing's going to stack up. It looked like, was that Hilda coming behind him? Hilda Olamomoy for, looked like a gator in white. It was Hilda,
it was.
Another top 3 for her.
Amazing run from her.
Riley Chamberlain.
Amazing run from Riley Chamberlain from BYU to take 4th, and then the two NC State women 5-6.
Let's start doing the accounting.
Here we go.
BYU 2 and 4 are in. NC State, their top 2 5 and 6. Alabama 111-17. As you see Pamela Koskei there. Oregon, that's going to be points.
Oh, and Angelina Napoleon, who we expect to close well. Looks like she was really struggling there that last K. Fighting to the line.
That's a point there as a duck gets through. And BYU, all the 3 teams that you were in the shakeup.
BYU, I keep seeing it.
Did they hold their water? 4 across there. NC State's 5th runners in at 44.
And I think this is 5-6 for Oregon finishing right now. That's Mia Barnett and I think Annika Thompson.
NC State 5-6, 24, 35-44. BYU 2-4, 36, 41, 47. They have their 7 in for BYU.
Sadie Englehart.
But this is a 5-person race, and you see how it shakes out. But right now it looks like Lori Hennis' crew will go back to the top of the podium. Fabulous run by the top 5 from the NC State Wolfpack.
Yeah, this race really tightened in the last K. BYU was moving really well. NC State actually struggled outside of their top 2, giving back some places in the last K there, but it looks unofficially like they may have hung on for the win.
And you see how those racers come through. We kind of did some of the math there. About every 4.5 seconds is 10 places. So that the meter really rolls here as you get into the heart of this thing.
And you're asking, John, how can you go from 10th to 90th? That's how, right?
Yeah.
Just things start to go a little bad, and they start to go really bad.
Yeah, and you don't have to be sideways much to see the whole parade go by you. NC State,
look at
Caitlin
that.
Toohey trying to do the
Trying to
math.
find the mat.
Back in my day, we used to have to wait for the results.
I know. We were actually on our cool down, and they came running. It was like chariots of fire.
Yeah.
We knew it happened.
The hugs, the tears,
The relief.
the joy.
Yeah.
Caitlin Toohey loves her team. She was here last year. Remember, she
Yeah,
came on
she's
set and visited with
surprised.
us. We had some time with her, and she's out there still trying to figure just out how to sort things out as a pro.
Yeah.
Well, they've clearly built a phenomenal culture there at NC State, and I think what a wonderful thing for Hannah and Grace, who were on that team that won 2 years ago, but were sort of further back in the top 7 to now lead a championship team. That just has to be so rewarding for them.
Well, and there's nothing like having disappointment and then having that fire and to have a little bit of revenge to come back from last year, placing 8th for NC State. That was a disappointment for them. They had the players. They just didn't quite get it together that day. But Lori Hennis continually brings this squad, and they have such synergy and energy and all of the things. Congratulations.
NC State, BYU, Oregon. Top 3 right now. Top 3, Carrie, all coached by really dedicated women's coaches as well.
Yeah.
At the top of their sport.
Yeah, and as we heard, I mean, Diljeet Taylor and Lori Hennis talking about how we want to build this community of female coaches, and we want to be able to bring something to the teams that they coach, and they really do. I mean, we love our male coaches as well, but keep on bringing the female coaches
they're
here,
okay.
please.
They're fine. BYU with a really tremendous run. 2 in the top 5, and then a great pack between 40th and about 60th. A good race from Oregon, but I don't think what they would have expected. Shalana Yildiz was their top runner in 9th place, and then they didn't. Diana Cheritich, who I think we would have expected to be competing for the top 5. She was back in 31st. So their 4, 5, 6 really came through for them when the sort of expected 1-2 finished as their 2 and their 5.
Well, I think it's been the 3rd year in a row that we've seen a freshman get 2nd on the women's side. That's pretty awesome.
Fantastic finish, fantastic race. NC State, BYU, Oregon, New Mexico, Florida. Kind of the 5 suspects we thought, and they came through and they ran well. And thank goodness it's the top 5, because it might switch things up if we had to go to 6. But as it is, NC State's going to be your team champ, and the individual champ, once again, Doris Lemngole, back to back. We'll hear from her next, present the trophy. That means, Carrie, you got to get up and get out. We'll be here and hold it down for you.